Oh man, how do you even start a video after a game like that? Like, how do you even start a video after a game like that? Let's start with the easy stuff. Leafs lose, what was the final score? 6-1, I think, to the New York Islanders. No intro in this one because why? Not going through each individual goal because why? And let me throw it out there. My new book, This Team is Ruining My Life, but I Love Them, comes out this month. And the reason that is the title is I wanted to articulate the pain this team puts me through and the fact that I can't help it. Because I am a Leafs fan for life. I am in this to win this, whether or not they ever win this. I am not hopping off the bandwagon. Well, I've always been a Penguins fan. Frig off, you're from Keswick. Yeah, I'm talking to you, guy from Bowmanville who donated his Getzlaff shirt after the Ducks started to stink. You, owner of Team Canada Olympic Jonathan Toews merch, because you're like, who else am I gonna get? Jonas Gustafsson? Ah, screw it. They lost last night. You're a Leafs fan. Just say it. Hey, John Tavares is a Leaf. And 1 or 2, I guess, regular season losses isn't going to change that. Dude, it's awesome having him on the team. I think part of the reason Islanders fans are mad is because it was awesome when he was there. And then he left, and now they're first place in the Metro. And that's awesome. Here. Let's talk about the event, the spectacle that was last night. The narrative coming out of this game is that the Leafs got embarrassed and they sucked, and oh my goodness, if they play like that in the playoffs, they're not gonna win. Well, yeah, they lost by like 5 goals. But what did I say literally yesterday after the Leafs beat the Oilers? The Leafs are starting Sparks, sorry, he's the backup. They're without Gardner, their second pair left D, and Dermott, their third pair left D. Kadri's still out. Islanders have home ice advantage, and they're the rested team versus a tired team. Let me stop you because I've done this before and I've heard this before. They're professional athletes. Suck it up, that's not an excuse. Yeah, they're professional athletes playing against other professional athletes. Tired versus rested, this isn't hard. Dude, Kapanen almost didn't play in this game. It's not an excuse. Hey, Islanders won fair and square. That's the nature of the beast when it comes to the regular season. However, coming into the game, they had every conceivable advantage over the Leafs. And despite that, I thought first half of the game, Leafs looked great. Sparks had to make a few big saves. He's supposed to. Place is rocking. They're throwing stuff in front of JT and at JT in the warm-up. Fans going ballistic to start the game, and Zach Hyman shuts him up. Scores first. It wasn't until the Islanders tied it and even got the lead that I was like, oh, there you are. There's fans here. Then there's the Hyman offside goal. We've had that conversation 1,000 times. It's not unique to this game. It's nowhere near the intention of the actual offside review rule, but it is what it is. Dumb league makes dumb decision. Don't be surprised. And look, after that, the Islanders ran the Leafs show. The tired team looked tired, and it would be great if it was just that. But dude, Ennis had a bad game. Janssen, after a fantastic game against Edmonton, I thought had a bad game. Muzzin is for sure hurt, right? That guy doesn't look right at all. Everyone going, oh, he's just bad. Nah. Dude looks like he's been through 10 rounds. But at the end of the day, not to sound like I'm making excuses, the Islanders won. They were the better team and they won. Hey, JT showed up. His whole line showed up. I thought they were great. So let's have a little conversation, and we'll expand more on the brand new Pinnacle Pizza Steve Dangle podcast, which is going to come out later today. Let's get the obvious out of the way. Some fans are stupid. Throwing stuff onto the ice at all is stupid. Throwing something, I don't care what it is, anything directly at an NHL player in an NHL arena during an NHL game should earn you a lifetime ban from that team's games. Here's a message I received from a Leafs fan who went to this game last night. These were 2 rude, drunk guys I had the bad luck of sitting next to, and I like to believe they do not at all represent the fan base. The staff at the Coliseum was great. They really wanted to help me and get me to stay. It was my own decision to leave without pressing things anymore. And before these guys went overboard, I really was having a great time. They ruined my night, not the Islanders, their organization, or most of the fans. So a lot of you who are watching this like ready to rage blackout, I'm sure you're only taking in the part where there were 2 drunk guys who were rude to somebody. And before you go, what? They can be rude. No, like physical. But don't consume that part. Don't let that be the part that sits. This fan was at a game on the road where their team was getting their ass kicked, and they still had a great time for the most part. And they reiterated most of the fans, the people at the Coliseum working there were great. Can that be the focus? I'm not down with the high and mightiness from some Leafs fans that I'm seeing. Oh, classless Isles fans. And I'm not down with the whataboutisms of the Islanders fans that I'm seeing. The NHL is blessed to have 31 teams in it, and each one of those 31 teams has a fan base with thousands of fans. Isn't that great? Isn't that completely wonderful? some people out of the thousands of fans that each fan base has is full of turds. Believe it or not every fan base is full of thousands of Mr. Rogers just bumping into each other in the concourse like, oh, hello neighbor, hello neighbor, hello neighbor. Here's the way I always like to put it, alright? How many people do you know? And how many of them are kind of jerks? Okay, great. Hold that thought. I used to work at the Toronto Zoo. Stop me if you've heard this before. The zoo got over 1 million customers a year. I loved the vast majority of them. But on a scale of 1 million people, believe it or not, I encountered some jerks. And never once did I think to myself, everyone who goes to the zoo is a jerk. The Leafs fan base has jerks. The Isles fan base has jerks. But for the most part, I think we're all just fans of hockey who like having fun. Like people with the signs that Leafs suck jerseys. I mean, I don't know why you bought that, sir. The traitor jerseys. The jersey and shirt burning I thought was idiotic. Dude, it's winter. Give it to someone. But like most of it's just chirping and having fun. All I know is that this game's done. I was excited to get it over with beforehand. I'm excited that it's done now. Because this isn't the last time that John Tavares is going to have to play the Islanders in New York as a Leaf. But I am confident that the next time, both Islanders fans and Leafs fans alike will not have to fill up their diaper quite as much. For Leafs fans who can't understand why Islanders fans are upset, can't you? Was it a little over the top? I mean, I think so. He left their team and they got nothing for him. I get it. A lot of Leafs fans were mad at Matt Sundin for that same reason, even though I think they were wrong for thinking that. Dude, what was Sundin supposed to do? Stay? That team sucked. Well, he should have at least let the team get assets for him. Why? It's the general manager's responsibility to manage the team. It's not his. He negotiated a no trade for a reason. He didn't want to be traded. In fact, had the Leafs not asked him, I think he might have resigned. Matt Sundin leaving the Toronto Maple Leafs was the Leafs' fault. End of story. And despite your slightly justified anger, Islanders fans, same for you. Same for the John Tavares thing. The Islanders had every opportunity to trade Tavares, who was on one of the best contracts in the league, by the way. He was making less than $6 million last year. Don't coddle your stars. Say we need you signed by this date or you're gone. Garth Snow ran the risk and he whiffed and he paid for it with his job. The Islanders literally recruited the ex-GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs who could have told John Tavares anything in the world about why he shouldn't come to Toronto. He chose Toronto. And then I was seeing a story yesterday that he was willing to re-sign with the Islanders, and it was actually his agent, Pat Brisson, who convinced him to take the meetings with teams. And Dubas and Shanahan's presentation was so good that it won him over. Islanders fans, I think your real villain here is Pat Brisson. Because according to Puckpedia, it's a website I didn't even know existed, it lists all the agents in the NHL and the total value of their contracts and all their clients. Just to give you an idea, Craig Oster from Newport Sports Management, all the contracts he has helped players sign are valued at $673 million. Number 2 from CAA Sports is JP Barry at $790 million. Number 1, Pat Brisson, I don't know how to read this number, $1,139 million. If John Tavares dropped him as an agent in June, he still would have been the highest paid agent by a wide margin. Puckpedia, pretty interesting. You should check it out. And Islanders fans, let me save you the click. No, Brisson does not have any Islanders clients. He does have Marleau and Gardner. The other one that I just can't let go of is the kid who won the Calder. I understand why some people would find it disrespectful because he didn't use his name. I don't think Tavares meant it as an insult, and if he did, it wasn't a very good one. Being known as the kid who won the Calder is a good thing. No one refers to me as the kid who won anything. Matthew Barzal won the Rookie of the Year because he's amazing. It's better than being the kid who lost the Calder. Anyway, that's this one I don't get in this many layered onion. I'll say this, a lot of those chants were really funny. Who's your daddy? Where's your jammies? Under the bed sheets! There were no pajamas in that picture! However, this isn't just Islanders fans. I've heard this at plenty of games, including Leafs games. A-hole. Oh, come on, you can't say anything anymore. They're grown-ups. Not everyone at the game is a grown-up, genius. Like, how many people who chanted a-hole last night saw that video of Carey Price hugging a young fan and went, oh, God, that just pulls at my heartstrings. Kids go to games. Don't scream swear words at the top of your lungs at a public event. You're one to talk, Steve. I've heard your podcast. The podcast is marked as explicit, so you know that when you're listening to it, you're walking walking into a minefield. On this channel, to keep it prim and proper, I say things like a-hole. So with all that done and said, congratulations to the New York Islanders. Man, did they win a big game. Can you imagine if they lost? Might be safer that they won. The Leafs. So I look at the Tampa-Boston game last night and I go, are the Leafs either of these teams? Can the Leafs beat Boston? The answer is yes. We've seen them play these teams. We've seen them beat these teams. Are they favored in a series against either of those teams? No, absolutely not. And the league is rigged and no one calls any penalties against the Leafs and the standings are stupid. They should go back to 1-8. You gotta beat good teams to win the Stanley Cup. That's it. That's all of it. Beginning, middle, and end of the story. You can't find the Stanley Cup at a flea market. You can't haggle. The price is fixed. The cost is everything you have and more, and even that might not be enough. So, are you in? I'm not talking to the fans. I've patronized you with that question too many times. I am talking directly to members of the Toronto Maple Leafs right now. I get that you're tired, I get that you're frustrated, I get that you're hurt. I know you're fast, and I know you're skilled, and I know you're good at hockey, for crying out loud. Can you outwork the Tampa Bay Lightning? Can you out-hustle the Boston Bruins? Nah. Better question. Will you out-hustle those teams? Will you outwork those teams? Will you earn that ring? Will you earn your family's name being engraved into the Stanley Cup? Will you earn being immortalized in this city forever? The cost isn't a mystery. It's listed right in front of you. Travis Dermott's out. Jake Gardner's out. Nazem Kadri's out. There's a bunch of guys who I'm sure are playing hurt. Are you in? All those guys will be back. All of them. And if they're not, are you in? This isn't an, oh, you work hard and the universe will reward you sort of thing. This is you work hard and you reward you. Do you want this? Because I think you're good enough that if you do, you'll get it. But they look like crap and the playoffs are around the corner. Would you believe me if I told you that there is still 22% of the season left to play? It's a long season and a lot can happen. Make it happen. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really like to. Tell all your friends. Brand new Panago Pizza Steve Dangle podcast tonight. Pre-order my book that comes out this month. This team is ruining my life. And remember that hockey is fun and not to be a jerk.